Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be breaking off from the stream highlights to explore a new format. We're going to be playing some Explorer today, which is Pioneer Light for Magic Arena, and I've been playing around with a fair few decks, and this one's one that I'm really happy with. I've been tweaking it myself, and it's Izzet Dragons. More importantly, I suppose it's more of a Niv Mizzet Peyrune list than dragons in general, but it does have a fair few anyway. So it's a blue-red, I don't even know what you call it. I guess it's mid-range because it doesn't have any counters, so it's not really control, but it has a lot of removal, so, you know, it is what it is. It's pretty good against Winota, which is 90% of the metagame right now. It has a decent matchup against blue-white control, which is the other 10% of the meta right now, because we got the Niv Mizzet Peyrune. So, you know, this beats 100% of the meta, so it's pretty good. Niv Mizzet Peyrune, obviously, being the build around here, is a 6-mana, very hard to cast, 5/5, uncounterable dragon with flying. It says, whenever you draw a card, Niv Mizzet deals 1 damage to any target. And whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, we draw a card, which would trigger the 1 damage ping. So the 1 damage pings are really good against Winota, pinging away all of their creatures. And then the instants and sorceries is really good against blue-white control, because that's basically their main way of answering Niv Mizzet, which is pretty sweet. We can also do some comboing in response to, like, any kind of Niv Mizzet removal with our early game, which is Consider and Play with Fire. Play with Fire being some early game removal. You need a lot of early game removal in this format right now. I should stress, by the way, as well, the joke about Winota being basically the only deck in the format is almost just a joke. It's not quite fully a joke. It is at least 60% of the games that I come up against. But if this deck is viable, which I think it is in the format, then I think it will lower that number of the metagame share for Winota, so, you know, it is what it is. I think it mostly comes down to a lot of sweepers making it happen. Anger of the Gods, I had this as a 2 of, then a 3 of, then a 4 of, because the more times I swept Winota, the better chance I had of winning, so killing all of their creatures is really nice. They have started putting Adanto Vanguard into their deck, so burn-based damage isn't a 1-to-1 perfect answer anymore, and they do have, I think, a couple of 0/4s as well hanging around, or some 4 toughness creatures anyway, is actually what I meant. But yeah, being able to sweep and remove all the way up the curve, starting with Play with Fire, then into Dragon's Fire, 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker, but if you reveal a dragon card, deal damage equal to that's power. Fun fact, Dragon's Fire can kill a +1 to Teferi if you have a Niv Mizzet Peyrune in your hand, which is the perfect answer, so you can kill Teferi with this card, and you can also murder your opponent following that with a Niv Mizzet Peyrune. We've got the Angers, as I mentioned, to sweep away creature decks. It's just super good in this format. If you're playing a red deck that doesn't have all of your creatures die to this, then you absolutely should be playing it. Fortunately for us, all of our creatures, Glorybringer, Niv Mizzet, and Moonveil Regent, all have 4 toughness, so they survive Anger of the Gods while sweeping away our opponent's things as well. We do have 2 copies of Sarkhan Fireblood. It's probably the weakest card in the deck. So if you don't have these cards, you could probably swap them out for something like Fable of the Mirror Breaker, or maybe another Valakut's Awakening, something like that. But this is a pet card of mine. You may notice my avatar is always Sarkhan. I love Sarkhan, so I really wanted to fit him in here somewhere. And he does have some actual synergy, some value to be done here. If you can play Sarkhan on turn 3, and then on turn 4 make your land drop, you can use his +1 to add 2 mana of any combination of colours to cast Niv Mizzet Peyrune on turn 4. That's absurd. So having the ability to do that is great. It's also the reason why I've got Fable of the Mirror Breaker in here, because the attack here makes a treasure token. But you can also, once you flip it over to the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, copy Glorybringers, and those Glorybringers can then be exerted to deal 4 damage to non-dragon creatures, and it really doesn't matter that you exerted them, because they'll get sacrificed at the beginning of the end step. The Chapter 2, allowing us to do some looting as well, plays into Niv Mizzet, since the card draw is a factor. It also allows us to draw into the good cards that we want to see, so really nice there as well. And we got a 1 of Orb of Dragonkind, again, to look for dragons. We don't have too many dragons in the deck, so it's not the best ramp source in the world, and it's also not the most likely to hit with the sacrifice there, looking at the top 7 cards of our library. Which is why it's only a 1-of. It's really nice to accelerate into Moonveils and Glorybringers. So I've got it as a 1-of, but yeah, 2-of just felt like too much, to be honest. I think this is much better late game when that look for 7 cards is much more likely to hit a card that you're looking for. When your deck size is smaller, that 7 cards matters a whole lot more. But yeah, we're going to be killing a lot of our opponent's creatures anyway. We're going to be drawing a lot of cards, and then we're going to be slamming big old dragons and hoping that we get there. If you do enjoy today's video, I think you will, because this deck is a doozy, and I've had a lot of fun with it. This is my daily deck right now for the grind. So yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, you enjoy the deck, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. The link to the deck list is down in the description as always as well, so you can export this and play it to your heart's content. Maybe tweak it and give me some ideas on what you might change. I'm sure as the meta shifts, these angers might go down, and maybe this Sarkhan has a better target that or a better alternative that I'm not thinking of. I think the answer is Fable, of course, but you never know. Let me know down below anyway, and without further ado, let's get to some gameplay.
This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay.
Alrighty, we're in, and we've got, yeah, some removal, some hand filtering, and yeah, sweeper. So let's go. Should be able to beat just about anything our opponent plays, including a Gilded Goose. We'll be killing that on turn 1. Always bolt the bird. So this could be like Junsak, it could be Winota. We'll have to see. It's probably Winota. It's always Winota. Like, Explorer's got a bit of a Winota problem right now. I think it's somewhat fair to say. Like, right now, if they just play Winota, I probably lose. And I have nothing to counteract it with. And if I held that play with fire, I'd still have the same problem. So, shock it in. Play Winota. I guess I could consider into... Well, now I don't need to worry about that because I've gone Innkeeper. I could have maybe considered into another play with fire. That was like my only out if they had Winota there. Play more. Yes! Yes! Give in to the greed side. Alright. So we're just going to anger this board. And then we're looking for anything to follow up with. I think Moonveil Regent can go in the trash. Because I'm going to be playing Anger of the Gods. Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for if I wanted Moonveil. So, a little less than ideal, I suppose, but... red Anger, please. Alright, so they can start digging for their Winota with the discard here. I have Prismari Command that can kill Kiki-Jiki when it flips. Adanto Vanguard and Gilded Goose. Alright. They have a sweeper protected threat. That's an issue. I think it goes without saying. I'm going to play Steam Vents tapped, and then probably just going to Valakut most of my hand away. Might even include Niv Mizzet in that. Undecided. Again, we're in that position now where Winota off the top is absolutely terrible for me. But I can at least kill the Gilded Goose to prevent one of those triggers. So, take 3. And Gilded Goose. Alright, so... we're working with perfect information, so let's just, I think, throw this entire hand away. I've got plenty of Niv Mizzets in my deck, so dumping one's not bad. The Prismari Command's not quite covering the gravity of this situation, so... Yeah, there you go. Got another Niv Mizzet anyway. No removal, though, which is spooky. Still no removal, though, which is spooky. I mean, I think I have to just go Moonveil Regent and then Spire Bluff. I don't want to play Fable Passage because I'll shuffle all this back in and I don't want any of that. Yeah, we just need to fade Winota for like 2 turns. And this food cracking won't make much difference. Innkeeper, alright, that's a turn of fading. You can make a copy of Vanguard that can push through. Or an Innkeeper, I guess, if you want to make some more life. The life total is just completely irrelevant, though. If anything, they want to kill me as quickly as possible here. So, make sure to block the non-token one, because that's the one that they'll be paying life on. $13. Alright. So I could go down to 11 to play Niv Mizzet without shuffling my library. Or I could just play Fable Passage. I think I'm gonna play Fable Passage. Red, 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 blue, blue, blue. Yeah, doesn't really matter, I don't think, what colour I get, but we'll get blue. Play Niv Mizzet. I'm going to decline because I've got Expressive Iteration. Iteration can be a draw too if I want it to be. On top of its already absurd ability to Divination for 2 mana. Alright, no Winota, no Winota, no Winota. I think we've gotten there. They've not turbo slammed it. Oh, baby. Alright. A Brutal Cathar would be brutal there, funnily enough. Alright, so let's first, I guess, make them pay the 4 life. Not gonna pay it. Love to see it. Alright, yeah, let's just start machine gunning down their board then, I guess. We're gonna go Expressive Iteration. I'm gonna discard this hand in exchange for another one. Absolutely, draw 2. Get 2 triggers for pings. We're gonna start with Reflection of Kikijiki. Then we're gonna do the Innkeeper. Oh, baby. Yeah. Their board will be empty by the end of my turn. There's very little doubt in my mind. I mean, it has to have Expressive Iteration hitting basically anything. As long as it hits not 3 lands, this board state probably won't exist by the end of it. We could also opt into holding cards as well, so that we can potentially kill Lair the Hydra if they suit that up. But yeah, this game's over. It turns out when they don't just top deck Winota, it's not that great. But it still goes down to 13 and did show a significant threat nonetheless. I mean, they could top deck like their Torvalar's Huntmasters and cast them on this board, right? So it's still not, we're still not out of the woods, but the game is pretty over considering the amount of damage I've got on board, plus the amount of damage I can create and the card advantage I can churn through with Moonveil Regent. So yeah, pretty good. And on to the next one. Alrighty then, we're in, and we got a 2-lander with double sweeper. Let's have a look at our opponent's sleeves. They've got a mountain sleeve. Your opponent's deck usually can be identified by your opponent's sleeves, because a lot of people like to put a sleeve that similarly matches what their deck is doing. I like to do the exact opposite quite a lot of the time, so if I'm not using my default Birds of Paradise, I'll put a Jace on my aggro deck. Things like that. Makes people keep bad hands and gives you a little bit of an edge. Yeah, it's a bit of a spooky hand. It needs a 3rd land, but otherwise it should deal with whatever our opponent's doing. So they're a red deck, obviously, right? You wouldn't be bamboozling me, would you? Uh-oh. Oh, it's Izzet. Okay, there's a Delver. And we're going to get an Anger of the Gods if that actually matters here. I think I'd rather just play Sarkhan for the potential of turn 4 Niv Mizzet. So if they've got an instant or sorcery, it becomes an aberration. That is not an instant or sorcery. It's probably a land then. Smoldering Egg. Dodges Anger of the Gods. But does not... Oh, that's a bit annoying. Actually, it's not too annoying, because I can go... Red Source Sarkhan. Loot it away. Try and find an untapped land. Dragon's Fire. Okay, could be worse. So let's see if the aberration comes out. Nope, still no instants and sorceries. Delver of Secret's a very good card in every other format but the ones that it sees play on Arena in. Smoldering Egg again. It's really setting up the greed play here. So if we draw a land, we've got Niv Mizzet. Our opponent will be in a lot of trouble once that happens. We just got more Niv Mizzets. Okay. Well, if that's the case... Are we looting for the 4th land, or are we just guaranteeing Regent? It's hard to say. I mean, I can kill these Smoldering Eggs with Dragonfire now, so that's not a concern. I guess I'm looting. Angers seem good if it's like a Phoenix list. They don't seem great against Smoldering Egg, though, obviously. Niv Mizzet seems like it'd be very good, so having a spare is nice. I'll get rid of 1 Anger. There we go, got the land. Alright, so I'm going to put that on blue and play a Regent. And then next turn we got the Niv Mizzet. So we did miss our land drop, which... Well, we missed the timing on our land drop that would have allowed Niv Mizzet Peyrune to be on the board right now. So if your opponent's playing Delver of Secrets, there's a pretty decent chance that Niv Mizzet Peyrune's decent. I am totally okay with our opponent killing this if they have a way to do that. They're going to opt. Okay. Between Niv Mizzet and Anger of the Gods, these Smoldering Eggs should basically just melt very soon. Alright, they got to play with fire. So they can play with fire my Regent, and then force me to block with it. Ooh, Lightning Axe. Alright, so that's Sarkhan down, unfortunately. 1 damage. Here. It's Sarkhan down, but it's them... Oh. They haven't made the land drop, I assume, so... They just dumped a land. Yeah, there's the play with fire. So that's 5 points for Sarkhan. A land would be nice, because then I could Anger plus Dragon's Fire. But I can also just Dragon's Fire Smoldering Egg anyway. Probably should. They're getting pretty close to making them active. Alright, so just give me the lands. So, let's see. I'm not going to Anger, I don't think, because I want to make sure that these don't turn into 4/4s. So... Oh, this is a tap land anyway, isn't it? Oh, no. Alright, well... hand... Bottom... Exile. Mono tap lands today. Reveal my Niv Mizzet by killing one of these, because if they play an Izzet card... I'm done for. I think that's how that works, right? It's amount of mana spent to cast that spell, so it's actually 2 mana. I'm thinking of... There's a Phoenix that cares about the number of red pips, I think, in a spell that they cast. Alright, untap land, 1 time. Wonder who wins the war if they manage to get Smoldering Egg flipped. Okay. Let's consider our options. Get an expressive iteration. That would not help me cast Anger of the Gods and do iteration. I guess actually potentially would. It would get me my land drop. Yeah, sure, why not? Greed mode? I think greed mode. Give me an untapped land. Fantastic. Alright, so let's do... Glorybringer's non-dragon. Alright, so that's a bit of an issue. So hand, bottom, exile, and then we'll sweep the aberration. Doesn't matter what color here, so we'll just go blue. Sweep the aberration. No Dryas Disruption, please. That would actually be quite brutal. They've got something. Play with fire my face. Alright. That puts Smoldering Egg 1 point away. Probably 0 points away now from flipping. Which is definitely an issue. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so now they've got a 4/4 that shocks me whenever they cast an instant or sorcery. But they are effectively very close to being empty-handed. And they've got to cast 3 spells to kill Niv Mizzet, and in that time I will ping them for 3. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I can trade a Niv Mizzet in combat here, plus 1 spell, if it comes to that. Probably will do that. Also, Dragon's Fire would leave them very empty-handed, and I definitely have the advantage at that point. They seem like the kind of deck that would really want me to have been dead already. Alright, well, we're going to go Niv Mizzet. We are not going to shock in. For obvious reasons. But we could be dead. If our opponent has like a Fading Hope, we just lose on the spot. It's going to be really important to kill this Ashmouth Dragon on the coming turn, because I can't afford them to keep pinging me in the face. Uh-oh. Alright, well, we get to draw cards. We're not going to be able to ping Ashmouth Dragon to death with Niv Mizzet here, so we're going to 1. If they scry to the top, we'll cry. Okay. We're dead to play with fire now. We have the damage required to kill Ashmouth Dragon already in hand. 1 here. 2 here plus 1. Alright. I don't think I can afford to fear haste creatures. I think I have to just draw to win here and get this game over as quickly as possible. Hand, bottom, exile, consider, draw some more cards. This is when the deck really pops off. Anger of the Gods, just not that good anymore. Glory Banger. Play a Mountain, consider again. Draw another Glory Banger. Not so much of a banger in this situation, though. Ping you again. Prismari Command is 5 damage, right? So I've got them on 1, I'm pretty sure. Because it's 2 damage plus the draw 2, which is 4, plus the trigger on Niv Mizzet, which is 5, so... Yeah, we pass here, we discard the stuff that I don't need, which is lands, and then if our opponent draws play with fire, we lose. If they don't, we probably have the tools to win the game. Whew! Oh, good lord. Yeah, this deck's sweet. I love this deck. Alright. On to the next one. Alrighty, opponent goes first. We've got... well, the ability to play with fire on turn 1 if we want. Otherwise, we can play the Castle Vantress and have 2 mana open. If we draw a land, then Sarkhan can get us into Moonvale region and potentially Niv Mizzet, regardless of land drops. Oh, Moonvale guaranteed regardless of land drops, but okay, that was a hit for sure. Put it with Castle Ardenvale. So I think I'm going Castle Vantress, because I could hold up Play with Fire, but if they go Thalia, then it's basically wasting my potential here for a tap land. And I want to be able to get straight to all of my spells on time, cast them as efficiently as possible. It's going to be a control matchup, so let's see how Niv Mizzet does. Blue-white control. How do I like Play with Fire? My opponent's face here. I kind of like it. It could be used to kill Ardenvale tokens or ping down a Teferi, but it could also be used to put bad cards to the bottom of my library. And also to guarantee that I can play my mana and do things around Censor. So I'm not going to play anything here into Censor. They've already shown me they've got it, so I will not be showing them the cards that they could have used against me. I mean, at this point, I'm probably just going to throw out Sarkhan Fireblood. It's just counterspell bait at this point. Yep. It's got an Absorb. And they did have a Censor. Alright, we can probably play into Censor now. I think it's fairly safe. Let's see if they've got Big Tef. They foretell a card, which is probably either Behold the Multiverse, Doomscar, or Saw It Coming. It's a pretty good answer to Niv Mizzet, unfortunately. Let's put you on red, play Moonvale region. It is not a Saw It Coming. Confirmed. So I need to consider into a blue source now. Let's see if it's a Doomscar. I would really like them to Doomscar. I'm not going to overcommit into this board, though. So I think I'm just going to start by going Consider. Declining to discard my hands. Play with Fire on a Teferi minus is a thing, so I'm going to take that. Got our land. Alright. Let's Iteration. I shouldn't have played my land, for the record. Well, it didn't really matter, so that's good. Definitely intentional. Hand. It kind of mattered. Bottom, Exile. Go again. Do not discard my hand. It really mattered. Oh dear. Let's go hand. Bottom, Exile. Yeah, that's why you should wait on your lands. I got a little bit carried away, I'll be honest. There's just the natural instinct to just play your land straight away. Which you really shouldn't do, it's a bad habit. So, I mean, we got threats for this matchup. I'm still assuming this is a Doomscar. Because I think they could have cast it and chose not to. We know it's not. That's pretty good for me. They're going to minus kill my region. I'm going to kill Wandering Emperor. Refuse to discard my hand. So that's one Planeswalker down. I think I'm just going to hit them with Glorybringer. I'm waiting for Niv Mizzet plus a load of spells. So even if they do have a Doomscar, I can still get some value out of it. So we're going to like hold the Consider, we're going to hold our Fable Passage, because I think actually I would shuffle in a Steam Vents anyway, so... I would also shuffle in a Consider, so it's somewhat worth it. Trying to keep our opponents under loads of pressure to use that Doomscar, because it's the cleanest answer that they've got to Niv Mizzet right now. I'd much rather see them... Well, I guess the cleanest answer is actually Wandering Emperor, and we just got that out of them. And a Teferi Minus, but Teferi Minus would run into Niv Mizzet plus Consider. Yeah, there it is. Alright, let's see what you want to do with that.
I'm not going to sit this one out.
Okay, so I would like to draw Glorybringer again, so I'm going to shuffle first. Get my island. Third from the top. 3, 6, so I do have Niv Mizzet Consider. Not going to cast Consider. Got Prismari Command. Alright. It's pretty good. I can get rid of the Anger of the Gods here. And kill Teferi. Which I think is what I want to do. Anger. Now I'm wondering, do I get rid of Consider or Glorybringer? If I'd have made a treasure somehow, I don't think I could have, to be honest. That could have been a thing.
I'll have a better plan next time.
Alright, let's iteration. Hand. Bottom. Exile. Play the coast. Some more threats in my hand. Dragon's Fire hits Planeswalkers, I believe, so that's pretty good. We're just going to play into the Absorb that they're threatening me with. Could be a Wandering Emperor as well, I suppose. Yep. That's fine. Can I actually... I can kill a Teferi Plus with Dragon's Fire. Cycles for 0, so you know they're in trouble. I think that was a desperate dig for a land, because they haven't seen one in a while. We're definitely ahead on resources in that regard. They're at 18, though. Doesn't matter a great deal to Niv Mizzet. Matters enough, though. I could also waste their potential mana here by going Vantress and doing some scrying. Setting up my Niv Mizzet. I want to chain as many spells together while Doomscar is a sorcery, so... Having Moonveil Regent in play, though, definitely helps with that. Never mind. How many is that now? I don't even know. Alright, we're going for it.
Right on schedule.
3, 6. So I could do Dragon's Fire, kill Teferi after I play Niv Mizzet, draw a card, and have 1 mana remaining. Or I could just have more mana remaining and be more efficient by killing him now. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to kill him now. Before they can hold up on any kind of counterspell there. Because it won't really matter if they have a counterspell once Niv Mizzet comes down. Can always scry if I draw a land. Though obviously I'd rather not. Fables like drawing a land. Be greedy to play Niv Mizzet here. So I'm just gonna scry end of turn. Greedy and hugely punished. X1 Shark, don't care. So we're taking care of 2 Shark Typhoons, 2 Teferis, 1 Wandering Emperor. It's going well so far. Gonna be running quite low on threats. Portable hull, my treasure dude. Sure. We'll wait on that. Still got more to do. And they pass over. Hull's actually not bad. Thinking about it. But I could also just draw it later, so let's put it closer to the top. But also bottom it. Alright. Well then. Is it time to just redraw one? You could just redraw it. This little Doomscar, I'll draw a card. I think that's probably not even necessary as well. I could just scry, get my value out of Niv Mizzet, watch them board wipe, get my value out the next Mizzet. Rather than just get the board wipe out for nothing for one card, I can probably get it out for more. Okay, Wandering Emperor's in.
I hope you're ready to lose.
I'm feeling threatened.
Keep watch for intruders.
Okay, so threats are established on board. They can start making their creatures a little bit bigger, can start making more creatures. I can start drawing those Anger of the Gods, which had little value before, but do have value now. Though, to be honest, I'd much rather just draw a card draw spell. Let me set the upkeep stop just in case I don't like any of the cards that I see. That's interesting. I think it's bad to just do Anger. I could Valakut's Awakening, draw a card, loot 2. I'll take the Awakening, I think. So, Fable flips, not that it really matters. I guess it could matter if I draw like a Moonveil Regent or a Glorybringer, but realistically it's not going to do much. I get a guaranteed redraw on the Awakening here if they do have a counter spell for it, otherwise I'm going to draw a fair few cards and ping a fair few things. Floating mana for what? 5 mana floating with 1 mana open. Are they just doing Shark Typhoon? Oh, March of Otherworldly Light. Okay, so I have 2 pings available to me. So I'm going to get rid of the Shark token, I think. Draw a Play with Fire. I like all of these, so I'm going to submit 0. Oh, wait. I thought I had another trigger. Never mind. Still, this hand's pretty good. Baffling End, Kiki-Jiki, sure. This is a lot of triggers, so it should clean it up. I should have hit them in the face or the Wandering Emperor, though. Don't know why, for some reason, I thought I had the means to do more than I could. Right, let's think about this. They're maybe going to kill me in response, so I think it's correct to play the land. Also diversifies my mana, so anything I draw is more likely to be cast. But the downside is if I draw any looting effect, I don't have loot targets. So, let's play with fire the token, draw a card. Pretty sure we're gonna kill Wandering Emperor doing all of this. But she's preventing me from currently attacking in with Niv Mizzet, which I don't have to do, but I would like to do. So, ping, consider draws.
Oh, it's on.
ping. More lands, good lord. And then we're not going to be able to kill the token.
Watch out.
But we do have the Wandering Emperor guaranteed dead now. And if they have a Doom Scar, they're getting rid of Niv Mizzet and their tokens, so
That's it then.
that's not the end of the world. And then this last one goes to face, because I can't finish the job. Got some good cards, though. Making a token, so maybe not Doom Scar in the Tell Zone. Blocking. Are you conceding? No, it is a Doom Scar. Okay. I'll draw a card. Hit you in the face. Loads of lands, but we have a Valakut's Awakening, so as long as they don't have an Absorb, we can start digging towards Niv Mizzet. I think we should have 2 more in the deck. So let's, I think, start with Iteration. Awakening goes further through. Hand. Bottom. Exile. Should have been the other way around, because I'm going to Prismari Command. Oh well. Then we're going to Awakening. Or do I want to keep Awakening for Niv Mizzet and go Orb to try and find Niv Mizzet? I see half my deck with Orb, and I know the sum of the other half of my deck, so I think this is guaranteed to hit Niv Mizzet. Could do this at any time, so I'll do it on their end step. And let's see, 3, 6... 1, 2, 3, 4. Just trying to math out the most amount of spells I can cast in a turn, whether or not Prismari Command being cast before Niv Mizzet comes out is correct. I don't have an artifact to kill. I don't particularly care about this 1/1. Although I could have Dragonfired it, actually. Oops. Alright. So if Orb of Dragonkind doesn't hit Niv Mizzet, the top decks probably should. Alright, we hit a Niv Mizzet. Gonna untap. Play Niv Mizzet. I still have 1 more Niv Mizzet in the deck, so if that's another Doom Scar, it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna Shock. And then I think I'm passing, because I want them to counter on their turn if they have a counter. And I can do a lot in response to the Doom Scar. Which I think is the correct move. Yeah, got a few cards here I don't really care about. So yeah, they're going to attack me, they're going to Doom Scar, and then I'm going to try and draw as many cards as I possibly can to finish them off. So I get the added bonus of having this draw for waiting. There's Niv Mizzet, alright. Yeah, this game I think should be over now. I can afford to get a little bit greedy by going Prismari Command. Let me just check the size of my deck. I've got 12 cards. Alright, I think that's fine. Deal to loot. Draw. Gotta make sure I don't deck myself, because I should be able to just win off of triggers after all of this. And if they kill the Niv Mizzet here, then I've got the other Niv Mizzet plus Valakut's Awakening. I think that should cover it. I'm about to know a good chunk of the next cards I'm going to draw, which unfortunately don't help me chain right now. Is this Soul or is this in interaction potential? Alright, discard, Anger, Spire Bluff. Ping you for 2. Um, 9 cards. I've got to be very careful. Dragon's Fire would draw me a card down to 8, then down to 7. I'm not going to get a chance to cast this spell, but it's a redraw with Valakut's Awakening, so I guess I'll just let this happen. So, I have to go Niv Mizzet here. The issue we have is that I don't have lethal with Valakut's Awakening. So if they have another Doom Scar, I think I'm in a lot of trouble. And for that reason, I don't think I can afford to play Moonveil Regent, because it'll be my only way of... Actually, I've got Hall of the Storm Giants. So let's just set up Hall plus Niv Mizzet pings here. I can only draw 6 cards, I think, which is basically what Valakut's Awakening was going to do. Don't particularly care about the 1/1, since we have flyers. They had another Doom Scar! Come on! That's so rude. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna draw some cards. So we're drawing 1 card here. I need to make sure I've got a draw for the turn, so... And this isn't a draw trigger, is it? It is a draw trigger, right. It's, very spooky. I've got some Glory Bringers in my deck, I believe. So I'm drawing 2 additional cards here, right? 7, 6, 5, so... I can just try to definitely not lose by doing this. I think this definitely makes sure I don't lose, but also ensures that I probably win. Yeah, double Glorybringer, plus 4 triggers, 6 cards. I should be alright. I just want to make sure that there is absolutely no concern regarding my victory here. I've got a ward 4 land coming in for 7 damage. Draw the cards, puts them to 7. They cannot possibly have interaction for me, I guess. Just for the... Actually, no, this could stop a blocker if they have a blocker. If they do, like, Wandering Emperor minus make a token, this gives me the answer to it. So, play a mountain. Hall. I could play Glorybringer, but if they got an Absorb, then they don't lose. So I think I have to play to not giving them life here, and go for lethal. Shark Typhoon, fizzles, reveal a dragon, sure. There you go. Wow. Oh, man. Well, we've beaten Winota several times. We've beaten Blue-White Control. Those are 2 of the scariest decks in this format, so I think I could safely say this wonderful Dragon's Brew is a competitive deck certainly in the high tier 2, and I would recommend crafting it. It's a hell of a lot of fun, guys. We just drew our entire deck to win. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Yep, that's a thing, alright. Well, I don't even know if the next game can really add more to this, but we'll see what we can do, I suppose. So, yeah, on to the next game. Alright, we play first. I don't really like the idea of shocking myself for a consider, so we probably won't be doing that. Opponent's got white sleeves, so maybe I want to be mulling for a sweeper. I mean, this hand does seem a little too dirtly to me. If we're assuming... Alright. Although, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to keep this hand anyway. Hall of the Storm Giants go. Gilded Goose with some white sleeves. So probably Winota. It's always Winota. Need a red sauce. Did not get the opportunity to bolt the bird. Yes. It's almost certainly Winota, and they could Winota me next turn. Alright. We did get a red sauce. Alright, so that helps a little bit. One's got another innkeeper. Okay. So I'm gonna aim for the anger of the gods here, because it looks like I should be able to get away with that. Yeah, so I'll do like I think a loot and a treasure or something. I don't think pinging them for 4 really makes a difference, because when we win in spectacular fashion. Alright, that's really not great. Alright, so treasure, draw 2, discard 2. The treasure's just in case I don't draw a land for these angers. We did. Let's get rid of Fable, and I think the Sarkhan's probably bad because they've got double Vanguard, and I'm not going to be able to kill that. So as much as I want to ramp straight to Niv Mizzet, it looks like it won't be an option for me. But I guess the treasure now helps with that as well. 3rd anger. Alright, well, do you want to pay 8 life to keep your Danta Vanguards around, and then land drop Winota wins you the game? Playing to that out. That's clever. My game plan's just going to be deal 8 damage for 3 mana every turn, I think, until they decide that they don't want to keep these Vanguards. Or lose. It's also an option. Alright, so there's Fable. That could make them the treasure for the Winota, so we're going to definitely anger again. Orb of Dragonkind. Takes me off anger, but puts me on Niv Mizzet. I think I'll just sweep again. Pay 8. Can't quite do that again. Yeah, so I could use the treasure, but I'm basically like losing it anyway. I'd rather have this as a mana for any spell rather than this being mana for just dragon spells. So yeah, I could definitely lose here. They're going to discard and draw. Confirmed 100% Winota, I'm pretty sure, because they've got Kenrith. They did not draw Winota. Let's start by going consider. It at least makes our opponent think, okay, he didn't just have 3 angers. Just bottom that, I think. That's huge. Play with fire can ping the other Vanguard that they don't protect here. Which I think is what I want to do. I mean, they've got a Fable of the Mirror Breaker flipping. But it doesn't have haste, so if our opponent goes for Winota, I have to kill the Vanguard here. It's Llanowar Elves. Huh. Can I take 3? To avoid paying the 1 treasure? I think I possibly could. It depends on what this card is. I think I'm just gonna not do it, though. Got a land. Okay. Could be worse. Let's grab a mountain, play the orb. And hope Reflection of Kiki-Jiki doesn't absolutely ruin my day. They've got a couple of turns to get their payoff card here. It could just be a Winota and I lose. Could be a lot of things and I lose, really. I haven't done the math on whether or not just attacking me will make me lose. I'm down to 6. Tap land, say go. They can't afford to shock in because I have the potential to kill them with Play with Fire. Alright, I'm going to keep the island because we do have Prismari Commands and Valakut's Awakening, so holding cards in hand is definitely worthwhile. Our opponent's going to end step the Llanowar Elves here so that they have additional mana and also additional creature to attack with. Gonna go land, and I need a good draw as well, by the way. You can take me down to 4 if they want to. Oh, I'm definitely blocking the reflection here. No. No, Winota. And they pass the turn, and that's that. They've got an empty board, so even a Winota there wouldn't do it for them. Yeah, this is definitely... well, I don't know if I could say it's definitely a Winota killer. I've got a really good win rate against it, but you might have seen today that there's a lot of scenarios where if you don't keep the right hand, Winota can just win. It's kind of Winota's problem is that she just wins quite a few times if you don't answer like literally everything on the board. So having a lot of sweepers and a lot of interaction definitely helps stem the bleeding of Winota, which is probably why people are bringing in Vanguards now. That's a recent addition from me that I've seen. But yeah, if I don't draw a spell here, I could go Orb, Sacrifice, try and look for like a Moonveil Regent or something like that, or maybe a Glorybringer, and get in the threats that way. But I guess actually, no, I've got a non-summoning sick Niv Mizzet. What am I even talking about? I can just hit them in the face. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed. This format's a lot of fun when it's not Winota being like 70% of your matchups, which unfortunately it is, so you've got to really contend with that, I think, right now. But I suspect that it might die down a little bit over the coming weeks, mostly because if this deck exists and it's reasonable in every matchup, and very good against Winota, then maybe that'll put people off of Winota. You know, Muxus was a good deck that just won quite a lot, and then that one fell out of favour for some reason. I can't remember what it was. And so if Muxus can fall out of favour, and it's basically the historic Goblin version of Winota, then I'm sure Winota can fall out of favour as well. But yeah, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe anyway. We'll be back with more Explorer content because I do really enjoy this format, despite its flaws that are very apparent, I think, in today's video. I think you can still play through that and have a lot of fun with this, and there's tons of cards that don't see you play in other formats that are, you know, pretty sweet. Alright guys, take care, and peace.